Good morning and welcome to Flat Earth United with me, Nathan Oakley. Joining me this morning is Horry of YouTube channel The Hori Sheet Show. How you doing, Horry?
Doing all right, Nathan. How are you doing today?
Not too bad, not too bad at all. You caught me doing OBS streams, and I know you're a bit of a computer whiz. You've already given me several pieces of advice on solving camera problems, and we've not even chatted yet. So this is literally the first time we're chatting. So good to have you here, and I'm very, very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I did happen to catch you live streaming, and I didn't know what was going on, and it kept popping on and off. So I just hung in the chat room and said, well, I'm free, and we've been wanting to hook up. So I'm glad we decided to do this today.
Well, I wanted to chat to you because you've got what I would call the closest thing to a proper Flat Earth news channel. I know it's not called, you don't actually label it Flat Earth News, do you? But it's as close to it. You know, you cover weekly events, sometimes fortnightly, and you basically go through all the best bits of Flat Earth and give it to your audience. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, what I try to do, I try to go and research a lot of different channels, big or small, what I consider the most popular, and then what I have myself not even discovered yet. So I'm just trying to go all around. I'm trying to not limit myself towards the people who research. I'm not limiting my research to the people who are doing the flat square map or the AE map or the whatever other projection that you might have. Like I look at everybody. I look at every channel, and I try to present it and deliver the most aha information that I happen to see or happen to listen to. And this could be from, a lot of those moments came from like Mark Sargent's podcast for me. When he would interview people that they would talk for like 3 hours. And one of the biggest ones was the missile commander launcher, talking about how he could paint targets from so far away with his radar. And, that was mind boggling. If there was any curvature of Earth, that's just, it couldn't happen. So like things like that, I would find, or I was like, man, I have to get some of this out. I'm doing so much research. I need to figure out a way to bring it to people. And so the Hori Sheet Show was born. I said, let me write up a little bit about what I find interesting in this particular video, put a source link to it, or say I'm gonna link to this video in the description below, and then I just keep doing that. Next video, what's interesting about it, preface it, write a little bit of a script, and put the link. So I just kind of keep a log, and once I have about 10 videos to show and talk about, it's really a show and tell show. That's kind of like, IPS says that I'm the Stephen Colbert of Flat Earth. If Stephen Colbert wasn't a sellout whore for the New World Order or something, it was a funny way he put it. But I said, it's like I say I'm a Tosh.0 of Flat Earth, because everybody knows what the Tosh.0 setup is. A guy standing next to his TV and talking about a funny video. Well, it's kind of like what I'm doing with the Flat Earth. I try to add that. Try to add my own. It's kind of a funny and a professional touch to it. And I don't know how anyone else takes it, but for me, what I'm doing is trying to save people time, because who has time to watch a 3-hour long podcast about anything they're interested in? It doesn't matter what it is. And Flat Earth is really a topic that it hits you in the feels, but you might not have enough time to watch that 3 hours and really and get to the part that would make you go, aha. So the Hori Sheet Show tries to stick it in your face and then help other channels get noticed and say, hey, this is the best part I liked about it. Check out the video. That's kind of what I do. And people say it does save me time. Thank you so much. It saves me time. And that's what I'm going for.
Well, plus the formatting is exceptional. So most people are familiar with the TV style format. Guy behind a desk leads into the story, gives you the beginning, middle, and end in a précis form. Then you actually see the clip, which is maybe a couple of minutes long, and then you do a short summary or give your opinion. Then you move on to the next story. That kind of, it sounds simple, but to actually do it, to actually put it together, you're the first, to actually come up with a proper structure And hats off to you, because as you say, it does save a huge amount of time. Don't get me wrong, I've often seen the full length videos that you're putting up, but not everyone is going to be like me in that respect. Most people are limited in terms of their time, so I'm sure you've got plenty of fans already. But you're doing really well. I don't know how long you've been making videos for now.
It has to be.
I know you're a videographer, so.
Well, are you asking me how long have I been doing videos professionally, or doing the Hori Sheet show?
Well, more the Hori Sheet show. I mean, we'll come on to your background in terms of your videography maybe in a little bit, but sort of from a flat Earth perspective, how long have you been making videos?
I just started. I'm just getting to it. I'd say 4 months ish. It can't be much more than 4 months, or it might be. It's probably at the 4-month mark, Nathan. Yeah, but really, I'm just getting started. I'm just feeling out. Just trying to work on my style. I even had to look at the Hori Sheet show episode 1. I'm up to the next one will be episode 12. But this episode 1 was a little bit different. It seems a little bit different than the ones I'm doing now. I've kind of changed up the format, and I've realized why. I'm covering a lot more ground in the newer format. Now, I can't really, I don't want to go into like all the details of what I might have done differently, but it's sort of an evolving process, which it's fun. It's really teaching me a lot about how to bring kind of my own style into my videos, because doing videos about, I don't know, random products is one thing, but then when you do a video and you can add your own funny touch to it or whatever, because in my show I like to add these random moments. I think the first idea I had was, I'm like, what do I do with this green screen? And I'm like, I got this other table with this other green screen I can stick on it. What can I do with that? What could I do to make people laugh? And then I was just the goofy idea of me flying in the background, because I'm standing, in front of this desk at the Hori Sheet show, and I'm talking about a video. And then all of a sudden behind me, you see me come flying out from the space with my guitar. And I'm like, hey, that's one of the funniest things I did. And I just thought, what can I add to my show every time? So I try to add a little funny thing or 2 funny things to my show every time. So it's to keep it entertaining, because I don't know, that's just my thing. So it's teaching me a lot. How can I bring my funny end of myself to my videos, and I'll keep it professional and not, make Flat Earth look ridiculous. But some people, you can't please everybody, man. Some of the comments that I get, I don't let it stay up on my channel, but it's hilarious. People think I'm a shill all over for what I do.
I think that's par for the course. I think if you're making videos about Flat Earth, you're going to get called a shill at some stage. But
No,
I mean, how do you find it? I mean, this now is this fairly common for you, doing a live interaction? I mean, this isn't a criticism, but I noticed that you're talking to me, which is over here, and your camera's over here. Whereas when you do the Hori Sheet show, there's no one to talk to, so you're straight down the barrel of the camera lens, straight to the audience. It's a totally different scenario being live to being recorded. So you've done. I don't know if that was your first live broadcast you did this morning. Was it your first?
Not my first. I did do the live. I was actually, I'm starting to do more casual live streaming stuff, and then when I do professional stuff, I try to keep it on the YouTube. So the first one I actually did was my energy healing live stream, but I was in the Hori Sheet show set outside on the moon, sitting on the moon, and then I invited everybody, come over here. And so I did changed it in OBS. I transitioned to just me sitting on the moon, and I taught people what I knew about energy healing in that episode, which turned out to be pretty cool. Even Glowbusters, Bob from Glowbusters showed up. I think Dredd from You've Been Exposed showed up. I was really excited to see some of the people that I really like watching videos from showed up to my very first live stream. It really gave me a lot of motivation to just kind of keep going and continue.
Wow,
and,
that's cool. That's very cool. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, but it's different. I'm not used to it. So I've been just doing random stuff, because Nathan, I guess I didn't mention the other part of the Hori Sheet show is, well, the name. Okay, Hori Sheet is of course a funny version of holy beep. So, but a censored version. And believe it or not, I'm not catching flack from my Asian community. They love it. I'm catching flack from the politically correct white people. So whatever. But my channel goal is to catch people that are completely asleep to conspiracy theories and flat Earth and anything anything that, you know, is not mainstream. I want to catch the mainstream bears and lead them to the honeypot and the red pill and just truth bomb them right here. And you know, I'm trying to catch people in different niches that I can relate to and talk about. So I do videos, you know, on Fiverr and work at home advice, because I turned into a freelancer when I said, hey, I wanted to break free from the system, working 40 hours a week at a job I hate for someone else's dreams. I don't feel so good about that in my gut no more. And I'm pretty intuitively led. And I tell you what, never really liked working at a company. I never felt appreciated or valued at a job. So anywhere. So I said, you know, I have to get this information out about how I started. And then I had to also, I know a lot about astral projection or outer body experiences. So I knew that from high school. Now I'm not too much into it nowadays, but I said, man, what do I do with this video stuff that I had kind of grew a business with? So I'm starting to make videos where I'm teaching people how I became a freelancer or how I energy heal. And then I'm just, you know, the Hori Sheet Show's Flat Earth Digest is the research that I put onto the table, and you know, and help speed up people's research. So there is another goal, and that's to catch the sleeping bears and give them the red pill, Nathan.
I mean, I'm very keen to promote the fact that you're doing the alternative earnings videos, because this is something that you talk about taking the red pill. For me, that's kind of the next step of removing yourself from these systems, you know, getting into different means of sustaining yourself and getting into barter and things like this. I'm going to have Carl McDonald on. I don't know if you've caught the videos that he's been putting out about One Red Paperclip, but it's a similar sort of idea, you know, unplugging from working for the man, as well as unplugging from all the nonsense and bullshit that we have in terms of NASA programming and, you know, where we live. That could be the tip of the iceberg in terms of how we move forward. And as I say, one of those things is most definitely detaching yourself from pay slips and employers and all those things. And, you know, you seem like a very happy chap. I can only assume that, you know, it's because you're not being dictated to in terms of how you lead your time. I mean, it's pretty late there at the moment, but yet here you are chatting to me. Presumably that's good for you.
It's 6 a.m. I don't even know what day it is. I don't even care. I don't have to anymore. I don't have an alarm clock that I have to wake up to. You know, I made a lot of changes to get here, and I don't even do what I used to do now. I've flipped the roles now. My wifey goes to work, and I watch the children. So I'm like shoes on the other foot. Life is still good though. It's not because my business failed or anything like that. It was doing great. She just had a different opportunity, and she's like, "Hey, let's try this out." I'm like, "Okay, it's working great." I got a smile on my face, right? So, but yeah, so Alex, you know, have time to kind of share how I did that and get that out. And so I had a live stream tonight where I set up one of my they call it gigs, and on Fiverr. So I set up one of my gigs live, and a couple of people kind of came in and watched it and learned some things. So yeah, kind of trying to do a whole bunch of stuff really at one time.
I suppose the burning question is, how did you get into the flat Earth bit? So how did you find out the Earth is flat?
Okay, so moved into this new place, and there's a wood burning stove in the other in the other room, and I decided I needed, you know, it's winter time, it's cold, and I'm spending a lot of money on this heater, and I want to burn some wood in the wood burning stove. So I went to Google, believe it or not, and I type in, how do I light a wood burning stove? And I don't know if it's me or my connection or what, but you look a little choppy on my end. I don't know if the viewers see us as choppy or anything. If you hear somebody in the chat,
Could be that. My end's great.
Oh, gotcha, mate. Let me continue on here. So, no, so I went and pulled up, you know, how do I light my wood burning stove? And after I watched this video, guess what shows up in the recommended feed? It was a Kathy O'Brien video for MK Ultra. And I clicked on that. I was like, who is this? And what's MK Ultra? And she looked real serious. I just happened to be in one of those moods to click on something random, you know? And it started me down the rabbit hole really quick when she goes into talking about stuff about some big names and I'm like, whoa, this is this can't be real. So that quickly led me into Alex Jones, finding him. And because I was real, my mind kind of, I don't know, peeled back some layers. And I was real like, oh man, maybe they're all lying to us on a deeper level. Because intuitively, I've always felt like we're being lied to. Like, can't trust the government and all that stuff. But I never had any real anything on them, you know? But when I started going down the rabbit hole, a lot of this stuff made sense. A lot of this stuff I was hearing, I was like, wow, and it can't, gosh, look, you can't believe everything you hear going down the rabbit hole. But a lot of this stuff made sense, felt right, and I can read people. So when this lady was talking about her experiences and I'm looking at her in her eyes, I'm like, oh my God, she's telling the truth. And I'm like, whoa, so that freaked me out. And Alex Jones, you know, I kind of, well, I've always felt something was weird with him. But you know, it finally ultimately came to come to a website that said, what's the top 10 biggest conspiracies in the world? And number 2 was the flat earth. Okay. Number 1 was some other thing like the dream catcher. But number 2, I was like, flat earth is flat. No. And then I'm like, come on, this must be. And I was about to just click the X button. I was about to just hold on to my blue pill or my purple pill. And, but I said, no, let me see what these crazy people have to say about some earth being flat. I clicked on it and, I found flat earth clues pretty quickly. No. Sorry. Let me back up because I almost got caught in the net, Nathan. I almost got caught in the net. I didn't even click on anything. I don't think the site had anything to really click on that was worth, but I instantly Control-T, new tab, Earth is flat, boom. Then I come across Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society. I click on Flat Earth Society, and believe me, I'm in research mode, and I'm hardcore research mode right now. So I'm looking at some Flat Earth Society, and I got one eyebrow up real high, and then I come across gravity is because the disk of Earth is flying up at certain mile per hour, and that's gravity or whatever. No.
Per second.
Yeah, whatever.
Did you come to the conclusion of why that's there, though? Why would they say that?
Why is Flat Earth Society a thing, and why is that information there? Because it's going to catch people like me. Well,
specifically, I know it's controlled opposition, and yes, it's to catch people like you that are early part of their research. But why specifically? I'll tell you anyway. But why would they have the flat Earth disk rising up to cause gravity? What would you think the purpose of that is?
Oh, well, probably to still give the space illusion, if anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
they need to be, basically, if they're controlled opposition, the thing that the heliocentric model points towards beyond anything else is the infinite vastness of space. So if you're going to have controlled opposition, you want to retain that for certain. So that's what the Flat Earth Society do. They say you've got water spilling over the edge, complete nonsense, and the disk rises up at 8 meters per second.
Yeah, and just jog my memory of some of the people that really make fun of it, and they don't do enough research, and you kind of, some people you can't blame them, but I'm just gonna say I don't really know. I don't want to drop any names and name bombs, but a very popular YouTuber, and he made a video saying the Earth rotates. Like the flat Earth disk rotates, and he got an animator to talk about how the Earth would you'd have to feel like you're walking up some steep hill the more you get to the edge and all this crazy nonsense. And I'm like, man.
Oh, sorry, I said Eric Debay. You're talking about Vsauce.
I am talking about Vsauce. Yeah, I didn't catch what you coughed out for me, but yeah.
Eric Debay.
No, I like a lot of Eric's work. I didn't pry too deeply into what he has done, but anyway, the Vsauce video, I mean, it goes to show you how people can be quick to make fun of something and not do any kind of research into it. And for it to be a popular and I thought very well respected, very intelligent person, video creator, good video editor, I'm thinking, well, does this dude just own a green screen and read some scripts like me, and somebody just edits his stuff? Like, well, no, that he's probably doing his own stuff. But seriously, what what kind of research does the guy do? Nothing of worth. It discredited his everything, and it really upsets me that people can just not get past something like the Flat Earth Society. I mean, you have to, if you get caught with the Flat Earth Society and you believe that BS of the flat Earth rising and that's gravity, I mean, you might as well just go back to the globe Earth and keep your blue pill. I mean, the truther community is not ready. You're not ready for the truther community, and you have a lot more to swallow when you start trying to eat some flat Earth, okay? Because it ties into a lot when you get to the control structure, right?
I mean, before we get on to the powers that should not be, you mentioned about Mark Sargent's proof with them. How do they call it? Painting targets. And the guy he had on was talking about painting targets about 60 miles, because he wasn't allowed to disclose anything further. And I once interviewed a guy called Jeff Stewart, who was a quartermaster, and he said the same thing. He was talking about the Aegis tracking system. And again, he was saying, well, officially 60 miles, but yeah, they could go a lot further than that. But in essence, was that like the clincher for you? The wow, if they're painting targets at 60 miles, there's no curve.
And a lot of people say the similar thing I'm about to say is there was no one thing for me, but if I could say anything, what really did it for me, I think one of the biggest things is I was looking into I was looking at high altitude weather balloon footage, and I'm looking at all this, all these high altitude balloons going up 120,000 feet and then popping, and you got two versions, okay? You got the fisheye lens version, the GoPro lens versions. That's 99.8% of the videos out there. And then if you really try hard enough, you'll find a non-fisheye lens version. And now somebody has to explain where's the curve in that video. And I'm not even gonna say I know a whole lot about this camera that I do this video stuff with, but I know that fisheye lenses are wide-angle lenses, and they're designed to give you a wider field of view, so that camera sees more stuff, and that produces a curve on the horizon. So when I saw a video of a 360 camera, and when they're on the ground and they're on a level like I don't know, looks like a big cement slab outside of something, and it's a perfectly straight video, okay, 360 video panorama, weird looking shot, and then it goes up and it reaches its highest altitude and it's still a straight line horizon. Well, somebody has to explain, if the Earth is really a ball, how that kind of camera is it looking at a horizon that's slightly below eye level. And I threw my hands up right there, and goosebumps and everything, and everything I had researched for, like, this had been like probably about the 5th or 6th month of hard research, Nathan. I'm talking addiction. I'm talking every second of free time was me listening, or while I'm working, listening to a podcast, a 3 or 4 hour long podcast, like the one we was talking about with the guy painting that target. So, I mean, I couldn't stop. I was binging on Flat Earth for months before I even told my wifey, and, but it wasn't any one thing. It was mostly the NASA fakery, and the high balloon altitude footage, and the feeling of just always knowing that when I heard about the heliocentric model in school, and I always thought, man, if I dug a hole straight down, like, I'd end up in China. God, that just doesn't feel right. And I just chalked it up to, I could never do it. That'd be funny to try to think about it much. But no, it's a gut answer that I kept getting was, it doesn't feel right, because it's not. And that, when you feel and hear truth, dude, I feel it. I feel goosebumps. Goosebumps are my trigger. So a lot of this is intuitively led, but a whole lot of research, 6 hours a day of research. That's like taking a course, in school. And I might not have retained it like 100% to go take a test on it, but when you have that many nuggets, and I call them like nuggets of truth in these long, long podcasts, if you're a hardcore researcher into Flat Earth and you find these nuggets and go, like, it might be a picture, it might be a video clip, it might be it's a person talking about it like when you find a podcast with somebody that is talking about, yeah, I make the equipment that goes on the satellites, and I tell you what, it shouldn't be able to survive the temperatures they say space is working with, and blah 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 blah. And I mean, you find these pieces of information, and it's like, whoa, makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it's a lot of things. A lot of things come together. But I'd say that 360 camera, it was a big one.
Yeah, you often get the globe heads will take a piece of footage, and it's normally just one section, a still from one of those high altitude balloon footages, and it has a slight curve to it. You have to point out to them that at that altitude, that curve would have to continue, and it doesn't. As the camera spins, the curve remains the same. It's not continuing beyond the extremities of the camera. It's just a artifact of the lens. So when they have even a slight curvature, there's always an easy enough explanation for why there's a slight curvature and why it doesn't actually depict Earth having any curve. It's just an artifact of the camera. But yeah, I like those too, like when you get goosebumps.
Yeah. You're talking about the very end of the camera. Sometimes it has a slight curve, and you're like, they're like, oh, that's the curve. Look, it's going. And yeah, if you finish the curve, you're not going to end up with a ball shape. But I don't know if you saw my recent video I put out that really shows this in a pretty straightforward fashion. I took the image of Earth, the high-res image that they recently came out with. I cut it and pasted. I cut it out, and somebody on one of the forums was talking about, oh, you flat earthers have to explain this high-altitude jet showing curvature of the Earth with this snapshot photo. And I mean, clearly you have like a ball. Actually, it was flat on a flat horizon on one side, and then well, let me get in the right perspective for my camera. It's like a flat horizon on one side, and then it started to curve over here and go down like a ball. It was awkward already. I'm like, obviously this is some weird fisheye lens or something. And he's like, yeah, and the wing doesn't curve. You can't see any bulge, so it's not a fisheye. And I pulled it up in Photoshop, and right away I seen that the wing was actually working with a real weird bulge. And then I'm seeing all the curvy like reflections going on in the glass. So I was like, I have to make a video about this because this guy's really confused. So my latest video was you cannot see Earth curvature from a jet or a plane. And to talk about to go back to complete the circle in this video, I actually did just that. I took his picture, and I took that picture of Earth that I cut out, and I stuck it right on each other. And I looked, and I was like, now it made the same, like the top of the Earth that I had made the same curve as his picture. It lined up perfectly. But what it would have been having to show is half of the United States in that picture. So I'm like, guys, this is not what you're seeing. You're not seeing this guy look out his cockpit, and you're not seeing like New York and all these states, and like half the United States is not right here in this picture. I can look in there and I can make out like roads and mountain features in this picture, and it's not even close to being like the whole state. And people have to really wake up to that and understand that, look, no, a lot of the camera footage that we get is curved footage, curved lenses. And I wish, so I wanted to say I'm making a part 2 to that, but I found the video right after that I wish I could have stuck in there before I made that one. Is a guy is in his cockpit in his same looking jet, and he's on ground level. He's about to take off, and it's a curved cockpit, obviously, and the road lines that you can see going down the road curve at a real weird, like it curves into the front of because of the glass of the cockpit, it distorts that road. And as you go up, if you skip to it like 3 minutes into the video, you see, and this video is linked on that, the one I made, like in the description, but you can click 3 minutes in that one and see the almost same exact picture that I had debunked in my video. The wing had just distorted a little bit. The Earth had a weird flattened curve, and then there was a curvy reflection in the mirror of the guy, and then they had like the guy's like shirt was reflected also. I mean, it would look like it looked like a snapshot of the exact same video, and it was just another jet video. So yeah, people get confused on this fisheye lens thing. I'm sorry to go on a big rant, but
It's a good rant to go on because it's hard to explain to somebody, because this particular deception, the heliocentric deception, when it comes to things like seeing the Earth out of a plane window, it's one where they're not going to correct the misconception that you can see a curve from a plane window. I'd go as far as to say that they've even engineered these windows to produce this curve. It was one of the first flat Earth sort of arguments I had with my my auntie. I said the Earth is flat. She said no, I've seen the curve from a plane window. But in reality, this is something that's conceded on both sides. At 30,000 feet, you can't see curvature. You simply aren't high enough. And that's not me saying that as a flat earther. That's a base fact for anybody in any model. You're not going to see any curve with the Earth being 24,000 miles in circumference from 30,000 feet. It's not going to happen. So if you do see curve at 30,000 feet, it's an optical illusion. You think you can see curve where there is none. And ultimately speaking, when I was in planes traveling all over the plane, that what you're saying in terms of drilling down to China, for me it'd be Australia, but that was the conception that I couldn't get my head around. I'm traveling on these very long haul flights across a flat plane and you can see it out the window, but when you land, you're told, no, you're antipode to where you were now. I'm like, well, that's not what I've experienced in the journey. So again, for somebody to point out the window and go, well, no, that's the curvature. It's like, well, I'd expect to be flying around that curvature then if I can actually see it through this window, which you can't. But it's like you say, it's a misconception. And most people aren't ever even thinking about conceptualizing what a globe would look like, what it would actually physically be to experience living on a globe. You just get told that you are, presented it in Hollywood. That's it. Yeah, I'm on a globe. Yeah, of course, Hollywood says so. It's accepted. And therefore, when it comes to conceptualizing it, there's no requirement to. Nobody's investigating their cosmology. So why would you even consider it? You just look out the window and go, looks a bit curved. Of course, we live on a globe. And then your presupposition takes over. You don't need to conceptualize it from that point on. So your rant is perfectly valid because that misconception is allowed. They allow people. I've seen so many videos where you've got people like airline hostesses saying they've seen the curvature of Earth, pilots saying they've seen the curvature of Earth. And it's like, you don't understand the heliocentric system. If you're saying you can see curve, you don't understand your model. No, nobody's conceding that you can see curve at 30,000 feet. It's just wrong. But if you think you can, that's pure indoctrination. You've just got your presuppositions lined up, and therefore conceptualization isn't necessary.
Yeah, like you said, the airline stewardess and stuff like that. I had a good friend of mine that said he saw the curve from an airplane, and he looks at me. He doesn't look at me. He was like over Skype, and he's like, "Man, I just, when's the last time you've been on a plane?" And I'm like, "I haven't been on a plane since I was like a baby." But he's like, "Oh man, I could see the curve from the plane, man. I'm telling you." And I'm like, this can't be true because that's too easy. It's too easy, and people are not that stupid. I had more faith in humanity. and one of, I think, my very first formal flat Earth video, I called it the fish eye lie. And I made a real cool picture too of like a big fish with like a magnifying glass going over his eyeball, and when it magnifies his eyeball, it's like the flat Earth map coming out. It's pretty cool. But it's talking about how airplane windows are built, because I did a little research. Turns out they're curved. Why? Because of aerodynamics. It's stress reducing if the window is curved around the edges rather than square. When it's passing through the air, it's going to take less stress if it's curved. So there is a curvature to the window. That means and it's double paned a lot of times. There actually is like a hole in the glass of the window in one of these to kind of like to handle air pressure and whatnot, and or allow it to like bend and flex because of air pressure, I think. And that curvature in the double pane glass, you're gonna see some distortion. And there's pictures that I show where it looks like a curve out of that particular window, but it's just the glass. And you know what? That's one of those things that will wake people up. But it's really a shame when they fight you over it. Because it's something that you should be able to get over that hump. But people are, they love Star Wars too much. They love they love science too much, or they, whatever it is to them, they got to hold on to the ball. It seems like some of these people really, I hate to say it, they just really like the ball concept, or they don't think we could have been lied to that much. That's really like the biggest thing. Like, or they get stuck immediately on why. Why would they lie? Come on. And you just, you can't blame them, because they did it. They pulled it off. They pulled it off for, what was it? 500 years. 500 years ago, just about, we thought Earth was flat, right? It's only been 500 years that we've changed this.
Depends what you ask. They would argue that it was 2000. They'd measured it with sticks and shadows long before that. But yeah, you're right. In terms of as far as I can ascertain, the deception part of it would have started about 500 years ago. But if I was to put that to someone like Mark Sargent, he would say, well, no, because until they start claiming that they've got high enough to see it, they didn't know either. So to say that they're perpetrating a deception when they don't really know they've not got high enough, if I'm to use the argument, I can't say for certain it's not a globe or it is flat because I can't get high enough, then you can only concede that that would be the same for them, given that they hadn't been up till the late 60s, early 70s, or early 60s in terms of just going into space. But anything beyond that, in terms of moon travel, for instance, that's really the proof that we have, and that's the point that they've gone up high enough to actually have a look and take a photograph, according to them. Of course, we're not allowed to. I just want to address one thing from the chat. I'm sure he's not a globehead because his name's Flat Enough, and he's saying that it's not the windows on the plane aren't big enough to look out of, and saying you've got to crick your neck and stuff, and there's rows of seats. And I'd agree with you. I think it's specifically designed that way so that you can't actually look out of the window from your seat. And this is a fairly well worn story for me, but when I was a rep, I wouldn't be in the seat. That's what everyone else was doing, looking at the back of the headrests, not looking out the window because you couldn't see anything. Whereas if you went to the back of the plane, the emergency exit door, there was no seats around it at all, it was right by the galley in most of the planes, had a cutout. So yes, you've still got the same size window, but there's a what would you call it, an obtuse angle going in so that you can actually get quite a wide viewing angle on the plane. So that's what I would do to get a decent viewing angle and observe the flat plane for an hour, while everyone else was looking at a movie. But you still with us, Hori? Oh, he seems to have lost Hori. He's lost his connection. Hopefully we will get him back shortly. I might actually go to the chat and say hello to a few people while we're waiting for Hori to reconnect. So let's have a little look who's on our chat room. Flat Earth Christian Truthers, hello to you too. Shay Smith, good to see you. Alistair Cunningham, waking up the sleeping bears, nicely put. Yes, it was nicely put, I won't disagree. Five Arts Libertares, how you doing? Flat Earth, we've mentioned you already. Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, good to have you here. Sleeping Warrior, good to see you. Tony Ward, Deja Vu. Good evening, all. Presumably an American. How you doing? Good to have you here. Sadist. Thanks for being here. Hoodwink33, hello. Getting to the end. Go away now. Interesting screen name. Good to have you here. I'll hang around till Hori returns, and if he doesn't, we'll round out shortly. Ruminati, hello! Whee! That's pretty much it. Mr. Flat Taxi Rainbow Chemtrails. Now, I'm very pleased that James has gone back to that name, because it's an excellent name. We do actually have two feeds running, so I think that one was the Google Plus one. Yeah, let's have a look at the ABS one, see if there's any different peeps in there. And failing the return of Hori Sheet, we shall round out our show. Ches, good to see you. Fe Mex Am, good to have you in here. Abe, Abundance of Shade. Hope I've said that correctly. Good to have you here. Magsent, thanks for being here. May as well say now, if you're new to this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you do get updated when we have new videos. Anybody else? Before a 4, hello. Seven Raven Wolf, good to have you here. Raw MC, RORMC, good to have you here. Rebel, Pleased to see you. And the Hori Sheet show was in the chat. He hasn't said anything yet, so maybe he's had a power cut.
I actually had a power outage
I
out of
so.
nowhere. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I guess I should check the weather around here, but that's completely out of the norm. It just went completely pitch black in my whole room for 20 seconds.
Nightmare. It might be an idea for us to round us anyway. I was intending to keep this to be a reasonably short show. I'm sure we will chat again, but while we do have power and we're not going to lose you just for the outro, can you give us, or give the audience, I should say, the name of your channel and anything you'd like to plug as well, Hori?
Sure. I want to go ahead and get out there. To get to, all you got to do is type in the Hori Sheet Show or the Flat Earth Digest, and it will get you to the Hori Sheet Show. But it's really the Hori Sheet Show on YouTube. And I'm doing a Fiverr and work at home advice series. So I'm trying to help people that either have skills or don't have any skills, and that want to start making anywhere from a little extra money to potentially full-time income. And I know it sounds like a commercial, but hey, don't hate me. I do commercials for a living. But it's well-done videos. I'm not asking for money. I don't need money. That's not my thing. I just want to help people. I want to help people discover truth. I want to help people break free from the matrix. So I have a Fiverr and work at home video course. Check it out. It's how I got started, how I built the business. It's why I have a green screen in here. And, I'm kind of doing it, gearing it towards like anybody who's wanting to do videos there, or anybody who, like I just put out a gig today for a virtual assistant or making calls to anyone for money. And this you can do without a phone even. You can do, like I make phone calls with Google Gmail. So I'm giving you ideas and I'm telling you how to handle your business there on that platform to make money. And the other thing I want to do is I'm doing energy healing live stream shows and energy healing videos. So anybody who wants to learn how to pull headaches or nausea or joint pains, and believe me, I know it's unbelievable. But I have firsthand experience with this crazy stuff, and it works. And you can pull stuff out of people and pull pains out of people. I'm teaching you how to do it, and from the ground up. And you don't have to know about chakras, and you don't have to meditate, because I don't do all that stuff, and I don't have the first clue how to. I don't even know if I know the names of them. So it's coming from a place of pure intuition. I only read a little bit here and there, but not enough to know what I know. Otherwise, from firsthand experience. What I'm trying to say is everything I know is from firsthand experience and not from a book. So it's a different angle. So if you're used to any of this, come see what I have to say, because it's kind of me doing my own thing, and I hope you like it. So that's it. Check out the Hori Sheet Show. Take the red pill.
Superb. Once again, a massive thank you to Hori of the Hori Sheet Show for being on Flat Earth United. A short and sweet episode, this one. Be sure to subscribe, like, share this video, and indeed like, comment, and share on Hori's videos. I've been Nathan Oakley. I will see you all in the next video.